Welcome everyone to a brand new box office breakdown show here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dittenberg, and today I am talking about the Memorial Day box office, the second to last weekend of box office in the month of May, which was May 23rd to May 25th. We'll talk about the 3-day weekend domestic, and then when we get to the overall numbers, I'll break down some of the 4-day record-breaking numbers from Memorial Day. I'll also take a look at the overall domestic and worldwide numbers for this year and look ahead to the upcoming week, what's coming out in theaters and what videos are hitting my channel. So welcome back everyone to Max Talks Box Office here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dittenberg. If you're new to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notification. I do this show every single week, every single Tuesday. Might be moving it back to Mondays with no more Last of Us, so stay tuned if I'm moving the show back to Mondays. We shall see. But overall, daily, I do reviews, I do TV and movie reviews, I do out-of-theater reactions, and I'm doing a lot of movie franchise rankings lately. So if you like any one of those things, this is the channel for you. Subscribe, ring the bell, comment down below. What are your thoughts on the Memorial Day box office? Why was this such a record-breaking weekend? What did you see in theaters this weekend? What are you gonna see in theaters this upcoming weekend? Let me know down in the comments. And also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. So before I get into this box office breakdown show, I do want to say right away, I didn't get to do this last week when we passed 300 subscribers because I didn't have time to do this show last week, which really pisses me off when I can't do a box office show. I just want to say I am so thankful that we have passed 300 subscribers. I was sitting at around 280 for a very long time. Last summer, I got a lot of momentum with the channel, and then it kind of halted for a couple months, and a lot of things have not been going my way in my life. So the fact that it wasn't going great on YouTube wasn't the greatest thing, but to see how much out of nowhere you guys once again came out of nowhere and got me past 300 subscribers. Now we're even closer to 310 subscribers. That is just amazing. And it's been a tough year. I've been trying to get help with the channel, and I'm finally feels like things could be turning around for me. So I'm hoping you guys continue to support. I want to keep breaking these milestones a lot quicker. I don't want to wait 6 months for another 500 for 40 subscribers. Let's grow the channel very quickly. If you've been a follower for a long time, thank you. Keep recommending my channel to friends, family, co-workers, whatever you want to do, because we are growing quickly. And I'd love to get as many subscribers as I can, get more noticed by the studios, and get some reviews out for you guys even earlier than I have been. So please, guys, continue to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into some box office. So as I said, this past weekend was Memorial Day, and it was the most amount of money for movie tickets ever for a Memorial Day weekend. Nearly $300 million worth of tickets were sold this weekend at the multiplexes in the United States, which is a Memorial Day weekend and 3-day and 4-day week record. Unbelievable. And let's start with number one, and that is Disney's Lilo and Stitch, which opened for the 3-day to $145.5 million, one of the biggest openings of 2025. Absolute monster opening for Lilo and Stitch. It was in over 4,000 theaters, the only movie this weekend to be in over 4,000 theaters. And again, this is an interesting Disney live action remake because they already did Snow White earlier this year. But again, the original Snow White came out in the 1930s, nearly 100 years ago. And here we are with Lilo and Stitch remaking a movie that came out in 2002. So a lot of people in my generation, while they didn't go see the original Lilo and Stitch in theaters, a lot of them grew up with Lilo and Stitch being one of their favorite Disney animation films. Because again, my generation wasn't the Aladdin, Lion King era. It was the early 2000s era. And you can tell that a lot of people, again, families seem to have really enjoyed Lilo and Stitch. The movie only has a $100 million budget. And for a movie like this, that, especially where it's a lot of CGI characters, for it to only have a $100 million budget is amazing. Again, this movie cost $80 million cheaper than Thunderbolts, which is amazing. Lilo and Stitch got the awesome A cinema score. So it seems like everyone who saw this movie was very satisfied with their experience. The critic reviews, well, at times mixed. Most of the people who saw the movie did seem to enjoy themselves. Even though no one's saying this is one of the best movies of the year, one of the best animated movies of the year, people still had a good time. And I've been saying this for a long time now. The box office and how expensive it is to go to the theater, people want an experience. And Lilo and Stitch turned out to be a fun experience for families in the world. And yes, I don't think this is going to be one of the best, nearly one of the best movies, definitely not one of the best Disney live action movies. It wasn't the worst. No one's really hating on this movie, and even if you didn't like it, and the joy that people have had seeing it. The promotion has been really great from Disney. So again, the movie before advertising only has a $100 million budget, so it really needs to hit around 350, 325 just to break even. This movie is already at 361 worldwide. So based on its net budget, the movie should have already broken even in just its opening weekend. That is a monster win for Disney, who, Snow White was an absolute bomb. Captain America was a bomb. And really, Thunderbolts is turning into a bomb as well, which we'll get into in a second. Good budget. You knew this movie would be a hit, but I think it became a bigger hit because this movie didn't cost 200, $300 million. It cost 100, which is weird to say that's cheap nowadays, especially for a movie like this, but it is. In second place this weekend was the other big movie that hit theaters, and that was Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, with one of, I think it is the best opening for the Mission Impossible franchise, $64 million for the 3-day. Now, again, while this movie broke a lot of records for the Mission Impossible franchise, this also was by far and away the most expensive Mission Impossible film. The budget before advertising is $400 million. I am not lying. It is the most expensive movie of the year so far. Now, again, for backstory, Dead Reckoning came out in 2023. That was originally supposed to be, and it was titled a Part 1. But the movie, that Mission Impossible movie, the last one, got really bombed because obviously it was a very high budget. It was coming, they were filming during COVID and all those things, a lot of safety measures. Acting strikes and writer strikes hurt both these Mission Impossible movies. And Dead Reckoning also had to go up. It came out the week before Barbenheimer. So it really got swallowed up by those two movies. Now, Tom Cruise was coming off of Top Gun Maverick being one of the biggest movie hits of all time, coming out of the pandemic in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, that's correct. And everyone thought it was back. Mission Impossible has never been a billion-dollar franchise. For how much praise and acclaim this franchise has gotten, it's been around the 600, 700 at best range in the 600 $700 million range. It's never touched 800. It's again not close to $1 billion. And the movie cost $400 million because they did a lot of reshoots. And even Christopher McQuarrie has opened up that him and Tom Cruise started to change things about the movie based off of what the fans had said was wrong about Dead Reckoning. Even McQuarrie confirmed in an interview with Josh Horowitz this week that there were two scenes in the movie that they filmed 2 months ago. That is really close to the movie even just hitting theaters. So this movie had a lot of problems with writers, acting strikes, a lot of reshoots, changing things after the reception for the last film. So again, based on its $400 million budget, it needs to be in the, I would say, 850, 800 range just to break even, which would make it, again, the highest grossing Mission Impossible film, but it would also have to that just to break even. Now, Tom Cruise did put out a letter thanking all the Mission Impossible fans, because again, from one point of view, it is a huge win for Mission Impossible because this is the biggest opening for the franchise. But the budget got out of control where it basically became a lose-lose situation at the box office if this movie would even break even. So that is two sides of the same coin. In third place this past weekend is Final Destination Bloodlines, dropping 63% in its second weekend, 19.3, 89.4 domestic. This movie's already crossed $150 million worldwide. This is a hit for Warner Brothers. And again, this franchise has with only a $50 million budget, so this movie will make some dough at the theatrical exhibition. So Warner Brothers is on a run. Sinners, Minecraft, and Final Destination have all been massive hits for Warner Brothers. Final Destination franchise has never been this big of a hit in the box office. I am shocked we haven't heard even more films are coming, but I assume announcements will be soon for more Final Destination movies. In fourth place from the MCU is Thunderbolts. In its fourth weekend, it dropped 45%, 9.1 million, 171 domestic. As I said, this movie has a $180 million budget, so it probably needs to hit around 400 worldwide to break even. But this movie is even tracking behind Captain America Brave New World. It's at 355, so it's not an abomination or a bomb in that way. It's not as big of a failure or an embarrassment as Brave New World, but this still was not a massive hit. Critics and audiences loved the movie, but clearly word of mouth did not get enough people to go check out Thunderbolts in theaters. And right at the top five, still in the top five, is Sinners, which is in its sixth weekend. Yes, over a month out from its original release, 8.6. It's up to 250 systematically. This is an honestly slam dunk hit for Warner Brothers Discovery, Ryan Coogler, everyone involved. The movie is finally hitting digital next week. So this is the last weekend coming up. It is exclusively still in theaters. Looking at the box office overall, this year domestically, Minecraft is still the biggest movie of the year domestically, 421.4 million. Sinners is number two, $258 million. Captain America Brave New World is at three of $200 million. Lilo and Stitch in just its Memorial Day 4-day weekend is up to 182 worldwide. Unbelievable hit. Sorry, domestic. That's not even worldwide. That's just domestic for Lilo and Stitch. Thunderbolts is at 5 with 174. So look at that. Thunderbolts has been out now in theaters for, let me make sure I have this right, a month, and it got its entire domestic run passed by Lilo and Stitch in 4 days. That is incredible. Dogman is at 6 with 97 million. Final Destination Bloodlines is up to $93 million. It will be the first Final Destination film in the $100 million club domestically. Snow White is at 8 with 87 million. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning's 4-day is $79 million. So still best of the franchise. And The Accountant 2 is at 10 with 63 million. Looking at the worldwide numbers, a Chinese film is at number 1. The biggest American film worldwide this year is Minecraft, 940 million worldwide. Again, another massive hit, not very similar to Lilo and Stitch, not a bloated budget, so everyone made bank on that movie. A Chinese film is at 3. Captain America Brave New World is at 4 with 413 million worldwide. Again, the worldwide numbers when I combine the domestic and the international numbers together. Lilo and Stitch in 4 days opened to $361 million. Already broke even at the theatrical window. Unbelievable numbers for Lilo and Stitch, and it will only continue, in my opinion. Thunderbolts is at number 6 of 355 million. Sinners is at 7 of 338 million worldwide. The Final Reckoning did open to 206 million for the Memorial Day weekend. Snow White is at 9 with 204. And Final Destination Bloodlines is at 186 worldwide. So we're heading into already the last box office weekend for the month of May. And ending things out in the month of May is Karate Kid Legends. That is the big movie. It is the first Karate Kid movie in a while since the Jaden Smith Karate Kid. I'm trying to before I get this wrong, I want to say make sure I get the year right. First Karate Kid film in 15 years since the 2010 Karate Kid film. Now again, Cobra Kai was a massive hit for Netflix. Now, it kind of teetered off viewership-wise towards its end, but Cobra Kai was still a very big show for Netflix. So let's see if the Cobra Kai fandom is enough to power Karate Kid Legends to having some good box office. The other movie coming out this weekend is a horror film called Bring Her Back, getting unbelievable reviews. It comes from the directors to the sleeper horror hit in 2022, Talk to Me, which did very well. So we will see how, really good kind of program is Bring Her Back, because you really have two family films with Karate Kid and Lilo and Stitch. How much will Mission Impossible drop? How much will Lilo and Stitch drop? We shall see. Also opening in limited release this weekend is the Phoenician Scheme. It's hitting its wide release at the beginning of June, but this weekend it's hitting limited release in a specific matters of the world. So what are your thoughts on the box office, guys? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Tons of videos hitting the channel this week. Yesterday I got my Last of Us review. This week you're also getting my review of season 1 of The Studio. You will get my review. As of now, I am seeing Karate Kid Legends on Friday. I'll get my review of that. I'm also going to try to catch up on some streaming movies, get those reviews for you out. And honestly, on Monday, I'm all cool putting this show back on Monday. So what are your thoughts? Subscribe, ring the bell, comment. I'll see you guys in the next video.